Hey everyone, this is Creso, and I'm back for part 50 of the Human Journal. In this journal, I'm going to talk about Martin Luther King. Figure I just want to do this part. His birthday is around the corner, and I know a lot of people talk about Martin Luther King and everything. And I have a lot of respect for Martin Luther King, a lot. And I just want to talk about things about, just how inspired I am from his message. And I want to talk about some of the stuff that I feel, from my observation, I see a lot of people focus on other things alongside of the message that Martin Luther King, that what he shared. And, his famous speech about I have a dream, but some stuff that I just need to express here. But, I want to say that, again, I'm really inspired. You see, Martin Luther King, he played his role, okay? In his life experience on earth, he played his role, okay? His consciousness, just like everybody else is, okay? He just decided to play his role to inspire people. That's it. That was his choice. And I'm really touched. I have a lot of respect for Martin Luther King. The idea, the truth that everybody is equal, and that is true. That's consciousness. Consciousness is all about equality. It is. Doesn't matter what your background is. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. Okay. But the thing I want to talk about, I've been hearing about, again, it's every January, and then February we got Black History Month, February, right? But there's some things I want to talk about that I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. The way I'm going to express my breakdown, or let's just say the way I'm going to express, yeah, it is going to be very different, I guess, from a lot of you that probably used to hearing. So I will talk about it. But before I go on, I wanted to say that, one of the first neighborhoods that I grew up, when I reincarnated into this body, into my human experience, one of the first neighborhoods I grew up with is in a white neighborhood. I live in a white neighborhood. I live in this neighborhood called Bensonhurst, and it's in Brooklyn. Okay. During the early 80s, there's a lot of race issues going on in the early 80s in New York, but just different times. But let's just say the early 80s, okay? And I'm mixed. I'm mixed with different complexion. I'm mixed with in this body. I'm mixed with white, black, Spanish, Native, Indian. Native Indian. So yeah, I have a lot of mix in this body, and I'm starting to really pick up this whole thing very quickly about not everybody, but a lot of people are so divided on a skin color. Now, I made a clip a while ago about the title of this clip, Tales of Your Skin. So what I'm going to say is, it's going to be a little bit kind of a reference from that clip. If you go on my channel and you look up Tales of Your Skin, yeah. A lot of people, not everybody, but a good number of people put stories about themselves, all based through a skin color. Okay? That's been what? That's been passed on from school. Okay? Or let's just say your parents, your upbringing. And, or whatever was going on in society that we hear about. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about me a little bit, okay? So I grew up in a white neighborhood, right? Now my mother's skin complexion is white, okay? Now, me, on the other hand, is different. Obviously, you see my face now. So anyway, a lot of stuff that I was observing is like, I find it very, excuse me, very strange about the whole thing, about the skin color, about how people are, some people. And I remember my mother was telling me to, she told me that a rock was thrown in a window, okay, almost hit me. That had a lot to do because some of the neighbors, somebody within the neighborhood knew where we live, or something happened that they was trying to scare us. You know, they didn't like me, for example, because my skin color. I wasn't predominantly white I wasn't blonde hair and blue eyes, whatever. Anyway, and then I remember I was with my mother. There was other times when we was coming home. We took the cab. Excuse me. We took the cab home. I never forget my mother told me to tuck my head down because she was afraid that somebody was going to attack us if they would have saw my head. All this and the start of my human experience, I find it very during a time I didn't understand why I was in this world, but I felt this world was very strange of its own. Anyway, so yeah, all that stuff, I was going through is just like, sorry, pardon me, I had to pause for a second. A lot of stuff that was going on, with the experience with the skin color, I didn't quite fully get it why some people was acting a certain way. So to make it short, okay, just want to make it short here with my background, okay? So I live in a white neighborhood, right? I live in a white neighborhood, actually twice, excuse me. And I moved in so many different places, but in New York City, but Brooklyn mostly. I live a lot of places in Brooklyn. So I live in a white neighborhood. Then we moved to a black neighborhood. Then we move into other neighborhoods. Then we move back into a white neighborhood, right? And I was going through something similar. We moved back into Bensonhurst, right, to make it short. I was going through some things too over there. And I never forget, in the neighborhood, I was walking to the store. I never forget, I was surrounded by some of the kids in school. Most of them was white. And I was like, wow, They didn't attack me. I was just, they was trying to scare me. I was pretty much standing there. I wasn't afraid. I was just standing there to see what they're going to do, whatever, by the time. And the school, I was going through some other race issue with the school and different people in the block and all that. It was just, it was just like unbelievable. But that was my experience on living in a white neighborhood. But when I live in other neighborhoods, when I live in a black neighborhood, there's a couple of neighborhoods I lived. It wasn't all that. It was like very kind of like diverse. But let's say I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, but then I live in a predominantly black neighborhood. But when I move into the predominantly black neighborhood, okay, all right, it was the same. I'd gone through the same experience living in a predominant black neighborhood that I did in a predominant white neighborhood. I'm like, I bought into the idea that, in the beginning, during the beginning of my, I was growing up, for a moment, I thought, because I used to hear things how white people are so racist and all that, and a lot of stuff I've been hearing, and I figured, for a moment, I felt that way. Like, I kind of leaning towards with the belief system that white people are just really evil. I used to hear stories about the white devil and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, I've gone through the same thing in a black neighborhood. I wasn't dark enough. Even though I'm mulatto in his body, I'm not blonde hair, blue eyed, but I still didn't cut it. But the thing is, I thought, you see, during that time, I thought that because I'm considered a minority, it's another idea, it's all egotistic idea, I say I was a minority. So I figured that I will be, connected, or let's say I will be treated differently. But not really. I've been through the same thing. I've been to a predominant black school that the teachers and the students, I had issues with them, and I got surrounded by a lot of kids that's predominantly black from my old class. One of the schools that I went to, public schools. They didn't do anything. I was ready, at the time, I was ready to defend myself. I didn't care how many did surround me. I was just looking at my surroundings. The point is that what I'm trying to say is, everybody, is that I've been through the same thing I've been through the white neighborhood in the black neighborhood. I realized right there and then that the whole thing with one ethnic group trying to morally be different or better than the other ethnic group is just full of crap. You understand? It's just full of it. I didn't buy into it. I've been through both sides of the fence. Okay? Nobody can't tell me that, the white man's this and that and all that. No one can tell me anything on that. And it doesn't really matter about the skin color. It doesn't matter. It's all an experience, and it's an experience to try to separate yourself. You're thinking that because you are white or you are black, you are different or better. Let's just say you're better. I mean, everyone's unique in its own way, but you're still a source of life, And, nobody can't tell me about one ethnic group morally different or better, morally better than the other ethnic group. I just won't buy into that BS anymore. Okay? So that was my experience on that. Okay? I don't really think about it at all, really, unless I'm talking about, like, right now in this clip. I am adding more details in my book about this, about my, experience. But other than that, I don't really, on a day-to-day basis, I don't really look at my skin color. I don't really identify myself. I don't know. I just don't. It's not the forefront of my mind. Now, the reason why I want to talk about my background, because, there's a reason, obviously, to this clip. Again, I'm inspired what Martin Luther King did. Okay, it's an inspirational. He did what he did, but see, Martin Luther King is you, and we are Martin Luther King. See, there's no separation. Okay. The thing is, I realized through the years, okay, especially in the human experience, right? When you have something inspirational, something that's inspirational, okay, you seem to have, it seems to be a victimhood right alongside of something that's so inspiring, I have to say this. I have to really bring this out, okay? And for those that's listening, I don't know how you're gonna take it, but I'm not worrying about it, because I'm going to speak my heart here, okay? The thing is that when people think about Martin Luther King, they think about his famous speech, "I had a dream," but then a lot of people seem to fixate themselves into the drama, especially that he got assassinated and stuff like that, right? And the whole story with that. Now, last year, early 2015, they had a Martin Luther King movie. I saw the trailer of it. I didn't want to see it. I felt that the preview, this is my take on it now, okay? I just gone with my own gut, okay? When I saw the preview, I didn't want to watch it, because I personally got tired of the whole victim story, the whole triumphant story. I mean, it's an experience. I'm not going to say whoever looks at these movies or feels a certain way doesn't mean that you're lesser than me. No. I'm on a different level. It's my focus. Where's my focus at? I'm focused on people standing side by side and everybody's equal. That's it. But it seems like within humanity, in a great deal, a good number of us, we really fixated on basically being a victim. And then we put stories about our skin color. You know, um, and there's really nothing wrong. I'm going to say this. There's really nothing wrong if you're brown skin or pale white or whatever complexion you are. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, I mean, you are you, okay? I just wanted to put it like this too, okay? Whatever skin complexion whatever that's your skin complexion, okay? You are more than that skin complexion. You are more than the flesh. Do you understand? You are more than that. A lot of people identify themselves as that, and a great deal of people take pride into that. We take great pride into the idea of our skin color, but then we go about being a victim. One ethnic group don't like, let's say a lot of people, not all. We're going to emphasize this, okay? Not everybody thinks like this. Just giving examples. Let's say a lot of people within the black community don't like certain people within the white community, whatever, right? Things got different more and more over the years. It's not the same like the 60s, there's some stuff here and there, people going through certain things and feeling a certain way, and, and they attach the idea of, oh, because I'm darker complexion, I don't have the opportunities that I have compared to someone that's white. And, it's like, the story that we put on ourselves, we are recreating the same experience. When you place yourself, I'm going to say it like this, okay? And look, if you decide to do things in a certain way, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're a loser. It doesn't mean that you're not consciousness. It doesn't mean that you're not God. You're just choosing your experience. Me, as consciousness, too, I'm just pointing things out. I want to inspire you, okay? I'm just inspiring you, or maybe you could say I'm a reminder within spirit. Some of you that's listening to this may not understand why I'm saying these things, but I just wanted to inspire everybody to say that who we all are in spirit, and that, there's so many possibilities to life. There's so many possibilities to life, So when you decide to live a certain way with a story based on your skin color, right? For example, you're just recreating the same thing. You're gonna always be the guy or woman to feel like you can't get ahead because of your skin color, and then you got this idea, okay, that you accepted that you have to work extra hard because why? Because you're black. It's like, a lot of stuff that people do certain things with their skin color, a lot of it I like to do with ego, okay? All right, it's just an experience now, okay? It's our own mind. It's the stuff that we agree on at the moment, okay? A lot of stuff that we go about a certain way because we're afraid. Same goes for some people that's white. They're afraid too, okay? They're a victim too. You might call somebody the man because they're white, but then a person, I grew up seeing these things myself. Somebody that's white always got, not everybody, but somebody that's white always looking back behind his shoulder, worried, scared. So they got their own thing going on. They're afraid. You decide to live through ignorance, and that's the thing. But living your life through ignorance is just an experience. Now, I just want to inspire everybody that you don't have to live like that. A lot of us are power to change our story within our life. Okay? But I want to emphasize, if you choose a certain thing, it doesn't mean that you are a loser or a failure. I'm just saying that you have power to change your reality at any time. I'm going to call out certain things that when we follow a certain paradigm, it's going to come with things. Okay? So we take the idea with Martin Luther King, but then we still live as victims. You're still living like the underdog. And that's the thing I want to talk about Black History Month. You know, Black History Month is a follow-up for what Martin Luther King did. But it talks about not just Martin Luther King, but it talks about a lot of people in a certain ethnic group. But one thing I want to pinpoint on this, okay? And I want everybody to really go in spirit and really see what I'm about to say now, okay? You see, this idea that we created, okay? The first black woman to do this, the first black man to do this. What does that mean? What does that mean? I just want to say within, you know, because life is infinite. What does that mean, the first black woman or the first black man to do this? What does all that really mean when it comes to infinite life? I'm going to tell you, and, you know, hear me clearly now, okay? To me, because this is where I'm at spiritually, to me, that means nothing. This whole thing about, it's all ego. But I'm not saying ego is the villain. No, the ego is not the villain. It's us. The ego is you. You understand? It's us. We decide to shape our reality in a certain way. The idea of a first black woman, a first black man, that, you know, when I hear stuff like that, you know what that sounds to me? A lot of you all might take that, wow, it's so inspiring. It's such a, you know, I could look up to that person. But you know what that means? You know what that tells me? That tells me, it suggests, the idea of the first black woman, the first black man to do this, it suggests that there are other people from different ethnic groups that are suggested or basically holding you back because, let's say, you're black, right? So because you're black and you want to be a doctor during those times, right? Or you want to do whatever, you want to be an actor. You want to be an actor of different roles instead of being the, back then they got a lot of roles, a lot of people that play certain roles that seem to be a very favorite or let's say just known. Like let's any other, let's say if you watch a movie, right? I'm sorry, let me just try to explain this better. You watch a movie back in the days, right? It's a black and white movie, right? You ever see these type of black and white movies? You got someone that's brown skin, right? That's a help. They call it the help. Or you got a black man as a butler, right? But you never, at the time, you never, we didn't see the role that a black man or black woman do other things besides a butler and the help, right? Okay. So the thing is that, so anyway, so now through the years, you got the black man, a black woman will pick different roles now. So that's where you got the thing is the first black woman, the first black man to have this particular role, let's say as an actor or an actress, right? So it suggests that you have another human being, this whole thing, this idea of the first, being the first of what? That tells you that there's some other human being that has power over you or could dictate your life, how you want to live your life, how according to how you feel. Or let's just put it like this. I'm sorry, I'm talking fast here. Let me say it again. Being the first black woman, the first black man suggests that there's another ethnic group that's holding you back, okay? That's holding you back or could dictate your life. But now, because you stand firm, okay, and you triumphant over, you have to battle your way to the top to be the first black man and the first black woman to do certain things. You understand? So this is the thing, when I hear stuff like that, I feel that with Black History Month, a lot of you could say, oh, it helps us to reflect. Okay, you want to reflect, but then you're still living like the underdog. I mean, you could do that. We could live like the underdog. I feel a lot of people, especially when it comes to black history, okay, I know it seems like I'm talking more about the black community more than most, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why. I mean, it's not just the black communities here in America. There's other ethnic groups go through certain things around around other parts of the world that you probably don't hear about or it's not widespread, okay? All these things is an experience. And to me, obviously, it's part of the experience being human. It's that we play the idea that we have another human being that has more power than you. So you got to triumph your way onto the top. I mean, how else are you going to get ahead? I mean, how else are you going to get that nice little American dream job? Because you got to work extra hard against somebody that's white and that has some degree in Harvard University. And while someone that's black, right, you got a degree that's kind of equivalent to the same type of studies that a black person went to a community college. Oh, but no. We all created the story that the white man or the white woman got this nice, prestigious degree from a highly well-known school. So yeah, we got this stuff. Yeah, we all created that stuff. It's all a game. So we play the game to be the little guy. That's it. I call it out. So Black History Month, you could say it reflects, but I'm going to tell you the truth, everybody. It keeps you in the past. Black History Month keeps you in the past. Now, look, we are free to do that. It's not saying it's wrong or right. It just is. That's it. It just is. You want to observe history, you're going to stay there. You're going to shape your reality that you're going through a reminiscence of that time. You may not see it at a particular level, but if you watch closely and if you heighten your awareness level, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. As long as you play the story that you're a black person and you just can't get ahead, you can't just get a break, you know what? That's going to be a reality as long as you want it. That's going to be a reality. You know? Someone that's white goes through something similar. Yeah. But for some reason, it's not really white talked about because it's amazing. Everybody within certain ethnic groups got their own experience. It does. We created this game that, that you're black and you can't get certain things. But if you do get it, you have to work 5 times harder than someone that's white. Look, I got to say this. All right, I really, 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 really got to express this. I don't care if your skin color is darkened than, let's say, how you call it, charcoal. You could be the most darkest person in the entire world, okay? That means nothing to me. When you align yourself, when you decide to be magnetic into the things that you prefer in your heart, you could be the most darkest person in the world. You could be, they call it blacker than black, like Dark Knight. Seriously, all right? I am being a little funny, but I'm seriously. Doesn't matter how dark your skin complexion is. You attract yourself, or you become magnetic to the things, you attract things to things that you prefer and shift out of that story that, oh, I'm just a black man, I got to work hard. Oh, I'm a black woman, I can't get a break. Oh, my God, look at all these white people, all that, right? You see, when you get off of that story and change your story as, I'm a spiritual being, okay? I know who I am. I'm God. I'm consciousness. Okay? All right? You're going to attract the things that you prefer. You will. There's nobody to stop you. You're only stopping yourself. You're playing the game to stop yourself when you align yourself with certain stories. So if you want to be a history buff, and you're free to do that. And you take pride in certain things. So you figure you have your chin up and you feel your chest is pumped up and you feel like you got to fight your way to the top. Yeah, you're going to align yourself into the story, to the idea that is how you're going to live your life according to whatever you feel inside. This thing goes for anybody. It doesn't mean, this thing goes for anybody. You could be white. You could be pale white. You could be lily white, right? You look down on somebody or you feel a certain way, you feel insecure about a certain way, someone that's white, your life, you're still going to go through the same similar thing over and over. It doesn't matter. Law of attraction, let me tell you this, everybody. Law of attraction does not discriminate. You hear me? Law of attraction. This is not some new age nonsense. This is actual how life works. Period. This is the truth. Law of attraction does not discriminate. You could be lily white. You could be blacker than black. If you live a certain story, you're going to shape your reality how you live. If you're going to believe in it, you're going to take on a story what your mother told you, your father told you, that you got to be ahead because you're white and your last name is Johnson or Smith or Kennedy, right? And if your last name, and you're black, let's say your parents, let's say you're black and your parents tell you, you got to work hard, da-da-da, because your last name is this and that, and da-da-da, whatever. You're going to line yourself up to life according to how you feel. It doesn't matter if it's wrong or right. I'm doing my best to be neutral, but I'm pointing things out here. We are power to create our reality. Consciousness is a fractal. There's layers and layers and layers and layers of reality. You could be all these realities. Sometimes a lot of us, depends on your spirit, sometimes we tailor into that particular experience of itself. But the thing is that you're never stuck. You can always change your storyline. So again, you want to take up that story to be the first black man, the first black woman to do this? Okay, you do that. I'm just pointing it out that if you go deeper and deeper, it does suggest victim. And it has a lot of victim in it. Because again, I'll repeat it again. This whole stigma about being the first this, the first that. It suggests that you have other human beings have power over you and you're not able to do the things how you want to do. You're not able to live abundant. So you have another human being that has control over you. Let me just put it this way too, when it comes to people controlling other people. Let me say it like this. Consciousness does not have authority of itself. Okay? It goes like this. Consciousness is about allowance. You allow anybody to control you. It's an allowance. That's all it is. No one has any control over you. That's how consciousness is. It allows. The thing is that we could shift from different realities. You're not tied down into one particular reality. You could live whatever life experience you choose. I'm dead on serious about this. The only one that stops you is yourself. You allowing yourself to be stopped. So if you want to play a story that a white man's always, you got to watch out for the white man, you got to get your cut, well, you allowing that to happen. But a lot of you guys listen to my clips, you're going to search through your history books and give me all your facts. Well, I'm going to tell you this, okay? The truth is, nobody has any power over you, and that is the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth, how I feel about this whole thing about Black History Month. I don't care what history it is, or I don't care what skin color, whatever. I feel what would be a great deal for humanity. I feel that a lot of people, this is my take on it now, I feel a lot of people need to identify themselves as spiritual beings. You are spiritual beings. Okay? I feel like this whole thing with the skin color, it's like, I just feel like a lot of people, I just want to suggest to everybody that to look at yourself as spiritual beings. God doesn't need color. A lot of people with religion will attach this idea about Jesus being black and Jesus being white, whatever, right? The Lord and Savior, right? And I'm like, wow. And I look into that. I think I mentioned that in my Tale of the Skin. But anyway, I was looking at them like the whole stigma behind why people want to place a skin color of some sort of Lord or God is because it's all about dominance. Because, you see, you're leaning towards your own ego, is that to fulfill your own ego that you want one particular ethnic group to be dominant over another particular ethnic group. So you attach religion with it too. So religion kind of goes under the same breath when it comes to skin color. I'm like, nobody's dominating over anybody. That's the truth. Consciousness, or you call it God, or source of life, don't really need color. I mean, you do have a skin complexion, but I just want to tell you this again. You are much more than a skin complexion. You are much more than that. One of the calls out Martin Luther King. I feel like a lot of things, too. I feel like a lot of people, in my heart, I want to express this, and I want to inspire everybody that when you hear about Martin Luther King, right, I feel a lot of people, in my heart, a lot of people should just focus on the message, and that's it. Focus on the message that how people are walking side by side, and that everyone, every single one of you are equals. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you're lily white. It doesn't matter if you're blacker than black. It doesn't matter if you're yellow, tan, blue, green, whatever you want to, whatever skin color you have. Every single being within consciousness is equal. Okay? I just want to say that. Focus on the message what Martin Luther King said, and that's it. Now, I'm going to tell you this, another thing. There's a few more things I need to say, and this is really, really important. This is about putting things in perspective. Martin Luther King got assassinated because that's part of the plan. Okay? It's part of the plan. Okay? Listen carefully what I'm saying. Okay? This is a life experience that he chose. Martin Luther King chose this experience. In his spirit, he chose this experience. Another thing, he is not dead. Nobody dies. You understand, everybody? Nobody dies. Life is a continuum. I wanted to say this, speaking about life is continuum. I want to say this before I close out. You know, some people just straight on don't like somebody because of particular skin color, right? Like I've been saying here and there in this clip, right? You know, it's funny that, you see, consciousness has a sense of humor. You see, source of life within us has a sense of humor. Let's just say you're lily white, and you just can't stand black people, right? So see, the interesting thing and the funny thing about consciousness is that, see, when you shift out of this human experience and go on to your next experience, okay, there's a possibility that you're going to come back as a black person. If you come back in a human experience, you will come back as a black person. But when you start your human experience again as a black person, you may not remember that, oh wow, I have a thought. I always kept getting this feeling that at one time I was white. Like there's certain thing that you seem to be connected to certain ethnic groups. And you say to yourself, man, and you say to yourself, man, sometimes I act like I'm white. Like, and you get these small thoughts in your head, but you just never really fully explain why in a certain level. The thing is that at a different time space, okay, you was white, but now you're black. Vice versa for someone that's black, don't like white people. You're going to come back as a white person. Everything goes according to your spirit. This is not a punishment. Like something's punishing you. No. Your spirit is consciousness. I'm just saying consciousness has a sense of humor. Consciousness will align itself into a particular experience on a feeling state. Every single nooks and cranny, whatever, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Every single thing in life, whether it's so twisted and chaotic and the opposite, all of that is consciousness. Consciousness will put itself into not liking itself, right, because of certain skin color. This is all for experience sake within the human paradigm. And then you come back as the opposite skin color that you didn't like on your other in your other life experience. Okay? It's like, it's weird. You don't like someone's white, but then you're gonna come back into a different time and space as a white person. I'm telling you. Now I talk like this because, you know, I always talk about reincarnation, right? I tell you that I reincarnated from a different humanoid race, but it's all kind of consciousness too. Okay. So yeah, I when it comes to reincarnation, I feel like I have a lot to share about that. You know, I not only I have a lot more or reconnected to my other life experience but different time space, but I communicate with some of the beings and from my other life experience. Well, I'll say this really quickly before I close out. This being kind of has the same mother energy, but I will call, you know, she would be like a mother, but it's the same thing, but in translation into the human life. And through deep meditation, sometimes I talk to her, and she talks to me back. She first reached out to me. See, when I first woke up in the human body, one of the things that I've heard was it sounded like a woman's voice. It wasn't telling me to do good, but it was telling me, she was telling me to basically just align yourself where you want to be. I mean, whether it's good or bad, you know, all things exist within source of life. But I didn't understand about what that voice was until 2004. Okay, she reached out to me, and now it made sense. It wasn't like I was going crazy. Okay, that's how I felt growing up. I just didn't understand certain things because I didn't reconnect to who I was. So when it comes to reincarnation, yeah, I have a very, very deep experience with this. Okay, but yeah, life is a continuum. Martin Luther King is alive. He'll never die, just like anybody else. I know, he could be in any form. He could be formless. He could live in he could probably in this dimensional time space, you know, as a human, or maybe he's a different humanoid. Depends on the spirit within consciousness, you know. So, be inspired what Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Focus on, I'm inspiring you now, okay? You could take what I'm saying or leave it. Focus on that we are all equal and that everybody is walking side by side, okay? Just focus on that. Just all I am is inspiring you. Remember, your consciousness, you could choose whatever life experience or whatever, how you want your experience to be tailored. If you want to live like the underdog story and you have to feel like I have to triumph on my way to the top over the white man, okay, you're free to do that. That doesn't mean you're condemned. I'm just inspiring you, just saying to you that you could change your reality at any time. Sometimes we get at a certain level that we're stuck. So you're a black man. So you figure that this is how it is going to be for the rest of your life. I'm just saying to you within consciousness, no. You could change your story at any time, even in this experience right now, as I speak. You are power to change your reality at any time. Nobody's never stuck. You understand? I don't care who you are. So I want to close out with that, okay? Okay, until then, I will be back. I've been doing a lot of clips lately. I'm going to upload quite a few. So till then, I will be back for part 51. Take care.